starting off now. So, I saw a psychiatrist in 1971 on March the 18th, precisely. I always remember it, it's imprinted in my memory. And this is, I'll paint you like a Dutch Impressionist painting the scenario, recreating the meeting with Dr. question mark. It's not me. Whether he's here or not now, I don't know. But this is what happened. It's called the Kickstart. I thought I could have trusted you all those years ago. Benevolence seemed in the air when entering your room. Silver grey-haired Celtic nose, aroma of cigar. To one like you, I thought I could let my feelings flow. I spoke about my fondness for Scotia's hills and dales, my passion for Scots history, my projects done at school, my adolescent fears and woes, my love of literature, my love of songs and poetry, and the life of Robert Burns. I think it's time you had a rest, so thoughtfully you said. I'll arrange for you to spend some time in hospital, you said. As for my passion for Scots history and the poems of Robert Burns, you said nothing. You also said nothing about electricity, night sweats, nightmares, waking up the night nurse, force-fed medication, told to be a good boy. In the morning, it's your treatment. Chalk, 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 heavy aching head, waking up with furry tongue on a starched sheet bed. Doubt, fear, delusion, imprisonment, confusion. Why did you send me here? Did I do something wrong? You were responsible for all of this and more. You ordered special treatment and made my head feel sore. Did you listen to my passion, my tales of Scottish glory? Was I speaking clearly? Did you really want to hear me? You just extolled so clearly your psychiatric theory. Yes, you ordered special treatment and made my head feel sore. You flicked the switch which caused me to twitch, and you kick-started my psychiatric story. So that was a meeting that came about because I'd been studying my A-levels for 6 months at Beeston College, as it was then. It's Castle College now. It was Broxtowe College and various other things over the years. But it was good old Beeston College, which said what it was on the can then. And I went to secondary modern school at Beeston Fields, secondary modern school for boys. I didn't quite pass me 11 plus, so I believe. I'm a borderline case, they said. So I got a lot of bullying at school because like now, I was always very passionate about things I'm into, like my history and English and art and cricket and that. There were some great lads there, great teachers, but there was some people who weren't very nice, like you get in these schools now. Bullying is an issue, basically. But I was bullied, and it was pernicious bullying, and it affected me. And this happened about 2 or 3 years before I saw that doctor. But all that bullying went inwards because it was very personal, and it was confusing me all sorts of ways, sexually and about my appearance, everything else, you know. And so I didn't tell anyone. But it worried me, and I never went out socially because of that. But I got into my English and put everything into that. But and then when I got my grade 1s, thankfully in the artistic subjects, but not maths, I couldn't get that. And I refused to do science or technology. I've always been very belligerent, so should apply himself to things that he doesn't like, he said. It's true still. Anyway, but I know what I want. So anyway, that's digressing. But what's happened is that I went straight to the college, and I always remember my English teacher. It was a great bloke. People talk about him later. He said to me, "You ought to not go straight to do your studying. You know, you ought to have a grocer's boy job for about a year." The grocer's boys still exist, I don't know, but I didn't become a grocer's boy. I wanted to go straight to college, much to my mum and dad's adding to their anxiety because they weren't used to one of their family going to college or anything. But so there was a lot of anxiety around. But I went straight from an all-boys school where I'd been bullied into a mixed environment again, which I've not really had since primary school days. So straight away I got on really well socially and really enjoyed it, and was really doing well in the English and everything, being put in for S level and everything. But all of a sudden I began to worry, and it was all connected with that bullying. in a way, because I was in a mixed environment, and how to socialise again with female preacher, if you like, and everything got sort of mixed up, everything dried up on the page, and I sort of worried about my health, seen a doctor a few times, and then I ended up seeing that doctor, and I let my heart out to him, like I said in that poem, and basically that's what happened. The short, sharp shock, those who don't realise already, that's ECT, which is great for some people, they swear by it, but you shouldn't really give it to somebody at the age of 17. I don't know why I was giving it then. I've learned to say that she breaks about 44, but anyway, so that's just her background as to how bullying can be quite, and is quite harmful, and can actually lead to mental health things, whether it's chemical. In my instance, it possibly is chemical imbalance in the brain is the theory. Is it proven still? I don't know, for lots of mental health conditions. But anyway, we'll see. Yeah, one or two knowing smiles and that amongst us all. It might be preaching to converted here, I'm sure. But I'll do you another couple of poems about this subject. I actually said what I should have said to my bullies, but you can't when you're being bullied at the time. I actually got round to saying something to them 27 years later, when I was on an East Midlands Arts shape course. I was doing an exercise with a friend, with a member of the group we're in. Just to put you in the picture, East Midlands Arts was a very noble organisation, don't exist now, like a lot of noble ones don't. I think they ran out of funding. And it enabled people with disabilities of all sorts to have access to the arts. And so we went to venues all around Leicestershire, theatres, art galleries, and libraries and that. And we did did a year of doing different things anyway. And this was one of a lovely lady called Ailsa Fairley, a blind lady, who was very inspirational, doing a workshop. And she got us to do a role play. And the premise was, pick a partner on your class and think of a time in your life when you've been really wanted the ground to swallow up, you've been embarrassed, and then change it into one when you really feel good about yourself. And you have to do it through mind. And me and Harry Forbes, who was a bloke then, we came up with the idea of a blacksmith's handle, beating the handle, like my bully. I think I came up with that, and he agreed. And we both thought of a tree, because we both, I love trees, as being a nice healing sort of image. So, and having done that exercise, the next day I wrote this poem, and I realised it's about my bullying. It's just called Stop Beating Me Up. Though my body's made of iron, my inner soul is dying. Your cruel slings and arrows are tearing out my marrow. Stop swinging that hammer, you cause me to stammer. The sparks burn my brain, there's ringing in my ears. Please, please call a truce, let's communicate. Stop this interrogation. Let's have regeneration. Come, let's link our arms, melt this cold, cold iron into warm, living wood, with roots to the earth and branch to the sky. And my limb will feel strong, and my branches will twist and will twine in the true lover's knot, and this cold age of iron will be gone and forgot. Thank you. We're going backwards in time still. McGee, 1971, visit the psychiatrist. That was about my bullying, about the age of 13, 14, about 67 time. And about 65 time I got to know, a bit earlier than that, my best friend. We made a pact. I hope you've all been looking to have a best friend in your life when you're a child. I did one. I have one called Jonathan Young. And I wrote a poem about him a number of years ago. But the point about how this is linked to all this stuff about hurt and healing, which we'll get onto the all around the nature's healing bit soon, is because that best friend pact was severed at the end of the 60s because Jonathan had asthma and he was sent away to a therapeutic environment down on Ventnor on the Isle of Wight for his condition. And we never really caught up with each other again. But so this is about Jonathan and an emotional wrench of losing your best friend, not physically, but just losing touch. And it coupled with the 60s passing, which was a great time for me, musically and artistically, and apart from the bullying. And I'll sing you the one thing that I haven't written myself, probably in this performance, other than the tunes at the start. A little 60s song that I'm sure you'll recognise afterwards, which seems to fit exactly what I'm trying to say in this poem. So it's called Jonathan and Me, a 60s Friendship. Jonathan and me never could agree which one of us would succeed, which one of us which one of us it was to be, which one of us would succeed and so realise our wildest dreams. Primary school days seem hazy now, with memories of friendship vow. From sunrise to purple haze, we'd imitate the latest craze and seldom disagree. Summer days brought holidays and cricket at Trent Bridge. We'd munch our lunch by the boundary road, then slumber on the grass. We'd play our games at the lunchtime break and sing our favourite songs. And when the play began again, we'd sing deep mid-on. The Mersey sound came and went so soon, then Jonathan began to croon for the days of rock and roll. Memories are made of this, he'd say, and play for me his new LP, pretending he was Jerry Lee, and so our days went on. We both stood for mods in those good old days and sang those sort of songs, but better things were on the wing soon. Otis Redding was our king. We thought the way he sang his songs gave freedom to the soul. We saw beyond the music now, a long way from our friendship vow. The 60s slipped to 70s, it seemed to mark the end of something somehow precious, unseen, unheard, unsaid. We fell apart soon after this and went our separate ways, but time is yet to dim the glow of those good old 60s days. You know what it is yet? In the chilly hours and minutes of uncertainty, I want to be in the warm hold of your loving mind, to feel you all around me and to take your hand along the sand. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown pales the sky, I want to hide a while behind your smile. Help me to leave all my blues behind. Standing in your heart is where I want to be, I long to be. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. And when rain has hung the leaves with tears, I want you near to kill my fears. Help me to leave all my blues behind. For me to love you now, 'twould be the sweetest thing, 'twould make me sing. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. Ah, but I may